Hi everyone. From our last session, we talked about REST client, and in particular, we talked about the WebFlux REST client to make an HTTP call from the employee service to the department service. And for instance, just to show you quickly, we were able to make a call to get a list of employees, and the lists, what we are getting is ideally the employee information, and also for each particular employee we had to fetch the department information from the department service. So today we'll be able to see the different REST clients that are available within Spring Boot. And to get started, I'm just going to walk you through the first step is to go to the browser, access your browser, and just type REST clients Spring Boot. Right. So once you search REST client Spring Boot, if you click on the first link, you're able to see that we have the REST client, which is a synchronous client with Fluent API. We have the web client, which is non-blocking, reactive client with Fluent API. Then we have the REST template, synchronous client with template method API. And we have the HTTP interface, annotated interface with generated dynamic proxy. Usually we make use of the OpenFain to have this one. Now, I'm going to walk you through today to make use of the REST client. And this particular REST client, if you open on the new tab of the REST client, you'll be able to realize that this particular is an addition to the Spring Framework 3.25. All right, so if you are using any version lower than that, then you won't be able to have a chance to make use of the REST client. But then ideally, using the REST client version 3.2.5 and above, you'll be able to have that one. That is the new introduction of the HTTP client that we can use to make use of to make the calls to another service. So to get started, we are just to quickly go to our service. So you can see, I'm going to go to the employee service here, and then go to the employee service implementation, where our method where we are making the call to the external service, which is ideally located on HTTP localhost 881/API/department and the department ID. So what I'm going to do here is going to be very simple, and what you're going to do, we are going to make use of this one, the web client call, to be a method, so that we can be able to replace methods. So in this case, I'm going just to extract this one, show source action, and I'm going to quickly, first I'm going to do M, and I'm going to extract out of this. I'm going just to extract, and I'm going to get department using web client. So I'm going just to make use of get department using web client. All right, so I'm going to rename my method to be get department using web client, and in this case I need to fix this one. So you can see that it's just actually making of the web client, making the call to, and we are blocking in this case to get the department response. Now let's see how we are going to introduce now the REST client. Now for the REST client, we are going to go to the config, and for this case I'm going just to rename this particular file to be the REST client. So I'm going just to rename this one to be REST client config, or REST clients config. So I'm going just to rename that particular file to be the REST client configs, so that we can be able to make use of this this configuration. So for us to be able to expose the new REST client implementation, so we are going to expose another bin here, which is going to be at bin. Then we are going to have REST client, which is coming from org spring framework.web.client. Then I'm going just to expose REST client, and in this case the method is going to be that. And what I'm going to do is just say return REST client dot create dot builder. So So I'm going just to build. So I'm going to make use of the builder method to build the REST client. Now we have a bin, as you can see from VS Code, we have a bin. So what I'm going to do is just inject this one within our employee service. So I'm going to go up here and then now introduce the REST client bin, and I'm going to add it as the last parameter here, REST client bin. Alright, then I need to have the setter for that. So this dot REST client. So you can see that now we have the REST client injected. So we have this bin injected within our REST client. As you can see, all along we should be able to see that we are able to expose this particular REST client using the builder method. And then from here, what we need to do, where we are making the call to the external service here, get the department using WebClient, I'm going to have another method which is going to get us a department using REST client. So we're going to make use of using REST client. Right, now with this one we're going to now make use of it. So I'm going to duplicate this one and now comment this one for now, so that we can make use of get the department using REST client. And now what we're going to do here is that we are going to receive the same details, but then here we're going to make use of REST client variable dot get. The URI is going to remain the same, retrieve, and then we don't have the mono. So what we're going to do, we don't need the mono, we don't need the block. Alright, so this is the new way which we can be able to have that. So then from there we are going to do body. So we are going to introduce the body parser, and in this case we are going to expect the department response. So we are going to expect the department response dot class. So that's simply how we can be able to make use of the REST client to make the call. Alright, so let's see how that goes. Now I'm going to run the same code again. So I'm going to fetch information of the department with the department info. So you can see we're able to get the same details. Alright, let me just introduce a simple logging just to show you that we are in this particular get using REST client. So I'm going just to introduce a logger for us here. So I'm going just to have at SL4J coming from Lombok. So ensure you have that Lombok. And then the next thing I'm going to do down here, I'm going just to say log.info. Then we can say making the call via REST client. Right, then for this upper one we are going to make the call using the web client. So I'm going to have that as web client. Right, so that's the same. So let me refresh that and then we can make the call and see the logs. So I'm going to clear the logs for the employee and now open this one and make the request. You can see that now we are making the call via the REST client. That's how we introduce the REST client. Now let's look at the last one which I'm going to talk about today, which is going to be the REST template. Right, so if we open the REST template, we have these particular methods: get for object, whereby we make use of the retrieve via get for entity retrieves a response entity, that is status headers using the get. So what we're going to do, we are going to get for object because we just want the actual body. Now the rest of the methods you can be able to look at them, but then one thing to note is that with the REST template, it's actually being duplicated and it might be removed in the future versions of Spring Boot. So it would be advisable to make use of the REST client, which is the new offering that we have, which offers us the modern API for synchronous HTTP access instead of the REST template. Right, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to the REST client config. What we're going to do here is going to introduce another bin, which is going to be REST template. So we are in just to introduce REST template. And then what we're going to do here is going to be simple. We are going to return new REST template. So we're going to introduce return new REST template. Now with this, we need to inject the REST template within our employee service. So let's see. This one, we're going just to again introduce that down here with REST template, and we are going to introduce an added argument to our constructor, and we need to set this one to REST template. Alright, so to instantiate the injected value. Now let's see, how then do we make use of the REST template to make the call also. Now what we are going to do, I'm going to duplicate the same method here, and then now we are going to make use of REST template. So we are going to make use of REST template. Okay, right, so this one we are going to make use of REST template. So what is going to change is a little bit. So we are going to make use of get for. So what ideally we expect it to going to be get for entity or object. So we're going to make use of get object. Then this get for object expects two arguments. The first one is going to be the URL. So I'm going to copy this to be the URL. Alright. And then the response type that you're going to expect back is going to be the department class. Alright. So that is what we're going to expect that way. So that's all that we need to do to get the department using REST template. So let me just copy this one, and we can make use of it here. Now I'm going just to show you, duplicate that one once again. I'm going to make use of get the department using REST template. I save that. Now here I need to make an adjustment. This one is going to be using REST template, so that you can be able to see how this one works. So we are going to make use of REST template. Alright, so looking at that, our application is up and running. So if I make the same request, you can see that now we are making the call via the REST template, and we are able to get the same information. But then now looking at this, we are making the call for each. You can see how many calls. So if we have 1,000 employees, then it means that you are going to make 1,000 requests to the department service. So we are going to fix that in the next session. Alright, so remember to subscribe. Remember how you are making use of the REST template. So you just need to export the bins. So we did first see the web client, we came and did see the REST client, and then we did the REST template. Alright, now in future occasions we'll be learning about OpenFain. So I'm going to also do another session whereby we'll be talking on OpenFain, so we can be able to see how OpenFain works, right? Whereby we annotate the interfaces, and then in case we are not using Eureka or the Spring Cloud, then we can be able to make use of the URL parameter to specify the actual HTTP endpoint that we need to invoke. So remember to learn how to make these calls to an external service, and that is how the one service is able to communicate to another in regard to responding to the same request. Thank you for watching the video, and remember to subscribe, share, like, and click on the notification bell to get notified whenever I do upload of the new videos. Thank you.